Did you know that an expression that only lasts 3 seconds can instantly become a byword and make millions of people moved? That's what happens when Jungkook decides to share a snippet of his sweaty gym activities. Everyone would have guessed they would see the stocky body of the golden magne getting sculpted. But no one expected precisely the main star of that brief moment was Taehyung. Yes, V himself. What exactly did Taehyung do to steal the spotlight from Jungkook's spectacular progress? The camera managed to capture Jungkook confidently showing off the results of his weight training, with a satisfied smile on his lips. However, instead of giving cheers or words of admiration, Taehyung's reaction was completely out of the scenario. His expression drastically changed in an instant. His eyes widened as if in disbelief, before he finally tilted his head and made a face that could be said, almost like someone having a stroke. He looks so surprised, stunned, and in no way hides his excessive admiration. Taehyung's spontaneous and slightly dramatic behavior is what instantly breaks the tension and makes the atmosphere fluid. Instead of being offended, Jungkook immediately laughed, enjoying every detail of his friend's hyperbolic reaction. The moment doesn't feel like a gym session anymore, but rather more like a scene where two close friends tease each other with their own language. This is clear evidence that the chemistry between them is not something forced. And here's the emotional shock that brought ARMY to tears. Behind Taehyung's jokes and stroke face lies the deepest message that fans instantly captured. It was their love language. Taehyung doesn't need to say, "Wow, you're strong." He let his unstoppable innocent expression do the talking, showing that he was truly amazed and supportive of every process Jungkook went through. On the contrary, Jungkook's laughter is a form of acceptance and happiness because his appreciation is perfectly understood by those closest to him. Those few seconds perfectly encapsulate the years of friendship, understanding, and unspoken bond between Taehyung and Jungkook. For ARMY, this is more than just a gym video. It's a warm reminder that BTS's true bond is the most precious thing they have. Jungkook's laughter that broke out after seeing Taehyung's reaction was like a confession. "Look, this is my friend." So roughly the meaning behind his sparkling eyes. He didn't need formal compliments. Taehyung's honest and slightly silly expression was the best validation he could receive. In an instant, the atmosphere of a gym that is usually filled with the roar of machines and muscle tension turns into a warm space full of familiarity. Then, without being commanded, Taehyung approached Jungkook, not to check his muscles, but to pat Jungkook on the shoulder with pride, accompanied by a still incredulous shake of the head. This little gesture speaks louder than 1,000 words of praise. This is their language, a language understood only by two people who have gone through so much joy and sorrow together, from adolescence to becoming world superstars. This is what fans are longing for, the authenticity behind the glamour of the entertainment industry. This moment quickly went viral, not because of Jungkook's physicality, but because of the emotional truth he displayed. For ARMY, it's a touching reminder of why they fell in love with BTS in the first place. Not just because of the powerful music or stunning performance, but because of the undeniable human chemistry between the 7 members. A bond that looks real, unformed, and able to withstand the heat of the world's spotlight. The short video eventually became a symbol. The symbol of a friendship that does not need to be displayed, because he will always find his own way to shine. And perhaps that's the biggest surprise. In a world that often feels curated, we can still get a shred of honesty that makes us smile and, yes, maybe a little moved. And like a fire burning dry grass, the warmth of the moment quickly spread, filling the remote corners of the internet. Each frame is lovingly analyzed by ARMY. The flow of Taehyung's expression changes from stunned to proud. Jungkook's head shakes with affection, and a soft pat on the shoulder that seems to say, "You're great, man." Comments flooded in, not just in Korean, but in dozens of different languages, forming a chorus of universal admiration for the beauty of this simple friendship. And for all of us who witnessed it, it was a precious little lesson about what true bonding means. It's a mini story about trust, support, and authenticity. In a world that often feels fragmented, this simple story about two friends has become a story that is able to unite the feelings of millions of people from different parts of the world. He proved that the most universal and understandable thing turned out to be the language of sincere friendship. And perhaps, without realizing it, Jungkook and Taehyung are once again showing off not only physical strength, but also, and more importantly, the power of a bond capable of touching hearts. Had we been able to pause the time, perhaps we would have found that a few seconds after that gentle pat, there was a comfortable silence that fell between them. Jungkook may have lifted the barbell again, but this time with a smile still floating in the corner of his lips. Taehyung probably sat on a bench nearby, saying nothing, just watching with a calm and proud look, like an older brother watching his younger brother reach a milestone. A thumping iron sound and a deep breath were the only conversations they needed. It was in the silence of that almost empty gym that the weight of their togetherness felt more real than any weight Jungkook lifted. Taehyung and Jungkook's moment has unwittingly become a vivid example that touches on a universal human experience, the fundamental need for every human being to be seen, accepted, and appreciated in its entirety, especially by those closest to him. In the end, what remains is not about muscles or funny expressions. It's all just the frame. At the heart of all this, what keeps him resonating is a simple but very deep message. In a journey of life full of goals and achievements, the greatest gift we can have is someone who celebrates us not because of the results we achieve, but simply because we are who we are. And at a gym one afternoon, Jungkook and Taehyung remind each other of that, not only to themselves, but to everyone who witnesses it. A silent reminder, but its echo is heard all over the world.